In this video, I'm going to show you how you can freshen up your dash from this to this. Brand new bezel, 35 bucks. Brand new tach, $22. And how to freshen up your needles to make it look like it's brand spanking new. If you've got a 67 to a 72 Chevy C10, 20, 30, Blazer or Suburban, chances are high that you have this exact same dash bezel. I'm going to show you how you can freshen this thing up, add a little bit of your own personality to it if you'd like, with just a little bit of work. Let's jump into this.
First thing to do is disconnect your car battery. When you're taking out your headlight switch knob, reach under the dash. There's a little button you can squeeze and that'll let it come all the way out. And then use some needle nose pliers to loosen it up so you can get it finger loose. The reason you want your battery out is it keeps your headlights on. So unless you want a dead battery, you want to take that and disconnect it. Next is going to be your windshield wiper knob. Just get a little fine flat bladed screwdriver. There's a little nut underneath, and once you loosen it up, it'll come right off. And same steps to get it out. Underneath, there's a little plate that's holding the bezel on. It's 2 screws. You just take it right off. Then there are 6 parameter screws that are holding the dash in. So just make your way around. You'll be able to find them all. Next thing is getting the speedometer cable off. You just reach underneath. There's a lot of room under there. And then you want to do the oil pressure gauge. This takes a 5/16 wrench. It's a little small and tight, but it is doable. And then after that, there's an electrical connection. You just squeeze the 2 ends and it'll come right out. Taking the dash apart is very simple and easy. There's a lot of bolts. You just want to make your way around and take them all out. Take your time. This was actually reversed from me putting it together because I wasn't planning on filming this video. So I'm just putting it in reverse, but it's the same idea of putting it together and taking it apart. Just pretend you don't see those tachometer wires. This poor dash is faded. It's done a great job, but it's needing a little bit of help. And what are we going to do? A little bit of nail polish. Oh, that's looking way better. Looking brand new right here. Here's a close-up of just the detail that this came with. This was $35. I couldn't believe it had all this detail. It looked this good. The chrome was that shiny. I was very blown away. I could not believe it. Very pleased. Looking really good. Got me super excited. Just doing a little test fit right here. Looking good. One thing to note is from the old dash, you want to transfer these little black things to your new one. I think it makes it so that screen doesn't rattle. Not 100% sure, but then also make sure these posts are all lined in.
In order to add a tack, we're going to have to cut a hole through this plate, and it's a light metal. This is going to be facing the front, and it took me a second to figure out how am I going to get a good circle that's the exact same size as the tack. And if you look at this very carefully, how I want it to be is this black part is very lightly poking out a little bit. So I sprayed some spray paint on some cardboard, really soaked it, and then just shoved this on there and then poked it right there as close as I could. Gave it a little bit of a wiggle, and I would say that is good enough of a template for me to be able to cut it. Another thing you're going to have to do with this is this part right here. I had to shave this down because otherwise it was going to poke up. So I just shaved this down with the Dremel or whichever thing you want to use. That way this thing will sit flush. My goal on this is to just very lightly cut on the inside of the black mark because I'm really hoping that I can just have this part, since it pokes out just a little bit, I just want that to stick there. And then if I can get that to work, I might possibly use these screw holes. We'll see what I have available. I might even just Gorilla Glue it or something so it'll stick. We'll see what happens. It's going to take a minute for me to let this first dry, and then I'm going to cut it very carefully. Taking this tack out of the casing was really, really easy. Just to go backwards really fast, you can see that there's a tiny little screw in each corner. That is what is holding this part on the front. So once you take that off, this will come out. And before you get this off, this little shift light set, if you just pull straight, it'll come right out. And then as far as the back thing goes, there's one little screw, and this is usually just screwed on right here with 3 little screws. You just take that out and it'll come off, but usually when you first take it off, this will be attached and that screw will attach right here. So you'll pop it off, and then you'll take those 3 screws out, and you'll get just like this. One thing that I did is I just put a little bit of duct tape here and here. There was a little bit of wiggle from this little circuit board to the actual casing. I don't know if it's ever going to cause an issue, but I figured I'll just add a little bit of extra fortification on this puppy. And as you can see, I did paint this with that same polish as these. So it should blend in with these other gauges, all being the same color, very nicely. All right, I got a hole cut. Man, it looks really good from far away. I didn't know how difficult this was going to be to cut. This is all metal, so it did take a minute. I tried a variety of different things. I did drill some holes to make it so I can have some wiggle room. I did use, which might seem a little sketchy, a jigsaw to kind of cut some lines out. And then I finished with a Dremel to try to kind of cut all the way around. I'm doing a little change of plans because what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to put some black around these edges to clean it up a little bit. I might possibly round this out a little bit more just to make it look even. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on here and really push it on and just see how snug that feels. But that looks pretty good, especially from far away. Don't look close. But with how thin this is here, I put this back on here and there's plenty of room for this just to sit right here. I do believe, if not, I can just trim this down a little bit. Hopefully I don't have to, but I'm going to have this sit here, and then I'm going to have these wires. I'm just going to have them sneak back here. I don't want to have to drill a hole unless I have to, just because I don't want to hit or have to take, well, I guess I could probably drill a hole right here if I have to, so that way I won't have to hit anything. But let me see what we can do. I'm going to try the double-sided method, double-sided tape method, and see how well it holds. Cleaned up the edges a little bit and then just put some black marker to try to cover it up. I think when it's got everything on top, you're not even going to notice. But I do want to do a good job because it almost feels wrong cutting into a perfectly good dash. So a quick look-see just to kind of see what it'll look like through everything is it'll be pretty close to something like this. And if you look really close, you'll be able to see, oh, okay, it's not perfect, but from far away, that looks pretty dang good. Especially on camera, you probably can't even tell. But that's the end result that I'm going for. I'm just cleaning the surface with some alcohol. Just make sure that this tape will have the best chance of sticking. Might sound kind of ridiculous, but my jack stands, I have some wheels attached to the bottom with the same tape that I'm going to be using, and I've had them for over a year, and it still holds those puppies on. So I think it shouldn't have an issue holding this on, and we'll just see how firm it feels once we've got it in here. I'm just going to push this on, and I'm hoping it'll grab onto here and here. I'll just kind of push it on and see what happens. I'm trying a non-permanent solution first, and then see if we can get away with that. So I'm trying to be as nice to this as I can. Might not look like it. I guess if this part will fall off, as an extra precaution, I could do the same thing to have double-sided tape on the tack. But I don't know if that's going to be a problem. This thing's really good at being sticky. Yeah, it's pretty sticky. Okay. So that's looking pretty cool. Let's see if it'll fit the clearance here. Yeah, looks just fine. See that? Got plenty of room. Okay, wow, this is looking awesome. So I'm just going to button this thing back up, and I think we're going to be good. When I was switching over this piece, it was quite dirty, so I took full advantage, washed it with some soap and water. Be careful though, just because this paint stuff, it is coming off slightly. So just wanted to make sure that I didn't do any further damage. But these windows look much cleaner, a lot better than it was. I didn't film taking these layers apart. It's super simple. You just take out the perimeter bolts and the whole thing just comes apart. Just be nice and easy, careful with it. If I can do some editing magic, I'll make it to where you can kind of see how it looks. When you're putting this in here, be mindful of these little pins. And if I haven't mentioned yet, I got this for $35. Crazy insane. I'll leave the link below if you're interested. I did not think you could get something like this for that price. It's looking like I'm gonna have to shave just a tiny bit off of that hump, which it looked like there was good clearance, but to have that 100% seal, I'm gonna have to take this down just a little bit. And yeah, I'm not even planning, I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna trim this down and we'll be back. X marks the spot. I'm just gonna take that little piece out and we'll be back. Change of plans. Instead of grinding it down, I was worried of the heat, melting this and damaging it. My solution could possibly have caused the same thing. What I did is I put two 2x4s here and I just indented this part right here, and now it'll actually fit nice and snug. So didn't have to damage too much, and hopefully everything still works. But everything looks good here, good seal, so we're gonna proceed. All right, everything is seating nicely. I'm just gonna keep these wires in the center. I could just drill a hole here, but I'm gonna see if this causes any issues. All these screws are just a 1/4, and just be nice and easy on them. Before we tighten things down, just wanna see, yeah, that's looking really good. Everything's looking lined up. Okay, that's looking all tightened up. There we go. That's the final product. That looks sick. That looks so good. I'm very happy with that. Check that puppy out right there. Now to put this in there, there's 3 things that are holding on to the back of the dash. There's the speedometer, your electrical, and if you have a oil pressure gauge, that right there. The order that you're gonna wanna do this is, do your electrical first, it's got the most wiggle room. And then after that, it doesn't really matter because you're able to do this from underneath the dash, so you can have it completely butted up. And you just need to have this cracked just a little bit so you can get a wrench on here. 5/16 is all you need for this one. And then the rest is just 6 perimeter screws around here. And then you put your lights and your wiper knob back on, and it's like it was never taken apart. And when you're taking your dash apart, you just simply do the same steps, but in reverse of what I'll be showing you. I'm just gonna be going nice and careful. You might not have the best view in the house. The electrical here, you can see it's just 2 things that you pinch on the sides and it'll come out. It might be a little rusted, so you might need to use a tool just to wiggle it, but also be very gentle. This stuff is really old. Last thing you want to do is damage it. And my gauges are poking up against here, so you need to just change the position just a little bit. Oil pressure gauge in here. Not sure if this view is helpful, but this is probably the position you're going to be in. We've got that set there. And then we can butt this up against it. And then the speedometer cable. Next thing is just these little parameter screws we'll just put in here. Don't over tighten these. My original one was cracked in a few spots because they were over tightened. So just be careful on that. Once you've got all that done, there's one little retaining piece that goes right under here. I'm just going to loosely put it on just because this thing's pretty dirty and nasty. I'm going to clean it up and paint it, but my paint isn't coming for a couple more days. It does hold this down, and if we push that right there, oh yeah, that's looking good. So this will just put some pressure right here, and it'll just hold it there. Some of the last things to button up is your windshield wiper. This just threads on, and it helps hold the dash on too. If you want to tighten it, a little bit of needle nosers They'll help you right on out. Just give it a little bit of a turn. And then this little knob, if you can see under here, there's a little screw and it's not 100% round. So if you get it on the right spot with a tiny little screwdriver, you can get it set just right. And then this next one, similar thing. And then your lights, just push it right in. And we're done. I did some demo wires just to see if I could find where to plug this bad boy in. I'm gonna get it plugged in, put the battery back together, start it up, and see if everything works. Well, looks like something's working here. Yeah. Just take a little peek, see? These gauges are looking fresh. Poor thing's a little cold. Now, I'll clean up where these things go. Just for reference, I have my ground going here, just bolted to the dash. My power is going to my fuse right here. Let's see if I can show you. Right there. And the other one goes right to your distributor. That pipe here all the way around, and then I've got it connected just right under here. And that's it. That's how you can take your old dash, really clean it up, make it look really awesome, or better than it ever had before, with just a little bit of elbow grease and time on your hands. Well worth it. I hope this video helps you guys out. If you have any comments, questions, tips and tricks of how to do it easier, faster, or better, let me know in the comments below, or also what kind of setups that you want to do for your dash. I thank you guys for watching. If you could watch another one of these videos over here, that would be awesome. And don't forget to punch in or take it on that gain train. And we'll see you next time on More Self Built.